Hi Chomi, my name is Vuvu. If you are new on here, please consider pressing that red subscribe button below and joining the family. If you're an oldie, a member of the fam, welcome back fam, and thank you for joining me once again. As you can see by the title, today I'm bringing you the books that I read in the month of January. So if that's something you're keen on, please do stay tuned.
So Vena _ reads is an amazing book reviewer, also YouTuber. She reviews books on YouTube, and if I'm not mistaken, she also has a blog as well. So please, if for your connection with literature, get in touch with or follow at VUVUVENA _ reads. She is based in South Africa, and I think it is also extremely important to follow literary content creators who are based outside of the West and in continental Africa, because they do a really good job of bridging the gap.
We appreciate you, Vuvu, for bringing us Turning Pages and for bringing us your BookTube channel.
You know, this is a chance for people to actually see some people that I really enjoy.
Please consider pressing the red subscribe button down below, and if you are returning, welcome back fam.
Vuvu, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, so it is almost at the end of February, but I felt like if I want to keep the momentum with the books that I read throughout the year, I need to come back on here and do my wrap-ups. This year, I want you to know that I will not be doing TBRs. Should I do a TBR, you must know that it's a special occasion where maybe there's a specific theme that I'm trying to choose and select books from, or there's just something specific occasion happening. However, I'm staying away from TBRs because I found that lately it's making me feel like those are books that I must read, and not necessarily that they are books that I want to read or I could read. The minute I pick out a TBR, I feel like I have to complete those books, and that has not been doing very well with my mental health. So I have told myself that absolutely not. I do not have TBRs in 2026, but I will come back and tell you if I manage to read and what it is that I managed to read. So in the month of January 2026, I managed to read 4 books in total. All of these books were digital in the form of audiobook, and 2 of them were part of a series that I'm not yet talking about because I feel like I want to read the series at some point during the course of this month. So let me just pull out my trusty iPad over here. I just want to go onto my story graph just to be completely sure of the book selections or the books that I am sharing with you guys, and I may not have shared my thoughts on there, but I definitely know that I managed to capture when I read them. I know that the 2 books that I'm talking about are from the Sarah J. Maas Throne of Glass series, so it might have been book 4 and 5, if not 5 and 6. 4 and 5. I'm pretty sure it was 4 and 5, because I think this month of February I am going through 6 and 7, so it must have been 4 and 5. Let's just get into that. So the books that I managed to pick up in the Throne of Glass series were book 4 and book 5, and book 4 is Queen of Shadows, which I enjoyed, but it was like sorry, disclaimer again, I did mention that going forward, the way that I'm rating my books are yes, no, maybe. So this one was a definite maybe, like it was a strong maybe that was leaning towards a yes. So this is Queen of Shadows. And then I did pick up Empire of Storms, which happens to be my favorite in the series so far. So that one was a definite solid yes, definitely. If anything else, that's the one that you must read towards. Okay, read towards book number 5 and enjoy the hell out of it. I absolutely loved that, but that's all I'm saying about that series. The other 2 books that I picked up were I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay and The Murder After the Night Before by Katie Brent, and I do just want to ventilate a little bit on them. I'm not really reviewing, but I'm just giving you my thoughts on both of these books. If you really want to know, both of them were a maybe for me, but like a slightly over the maybe mark, but definitely very far from the yes mark. I hope these things make sense. They make sense to me in my head, but it is a book that I feel like it's worth reading. So let's talk about The Murder After the Night Before. So in this one we follow I won't say a budding, a journalist who has given up on their journalism career, to be quite honest. They were. The Murder After the Night Before by Katie Brent is a whodunit, murder mystery kind of story. And in this one we follow Molly, who is the journalist that I mentioned, who is a very messy somebody who has given up on so much in life because she has been grieving the loss of her parents who passed away when she was very, very young. Now Molly lives with Posy, who happens to be her best friend and her roommate, and she also is a journalist, but she's a journalist who recently got promoted and is taken very seriously in her career and has started becoming or rather is climbing up the ladder in one of the more prestigious newspapers in their area. So when we meet Molly, she is in bed with a man that she doesn't know. It is the day after their office party, end year party, and she was meant to meet with Posy, who doesn't work with her, but for some reason she doesn't recall meeting Posy. But now there's this man in her bed who she's never met, and they happen to hit it off in terms of quirk. They're very quirky, very the banter is definitely there. We discover quite early on that Molly is a very funny individual. And that day Molly does not see Posy, but she hears the door closing while she's in the shower, or as she comes out of the shower, and she figures that Posy is upset with her because they didn't meet the night before. So perhaps this is why she didn't come through and say hi, good morning, and any of that stuff. So now Posy is gone, and Molly's phone fell into the water, so she's trying to do the right method to revive her phone. She's late for work, she's a ball of a hangover, like life is not on her side. Okay, she goes and she takes the train to work. I think this is set somewhere in I want to say it's in London. She takes the train to work, but she feels like there's a weird energy. Everybody feels like they're looking at her, but at the same time she realizes that the kind of hangover she has is very classic. Okay, so she could be paranoid for no reason. She gets to work, everybody's astonished as to why she's at work, and she doesn't understand why are they acting the way that they're acting. And then come to find out that when she gets called by the boss into her office, yes, she did a few things, misbehaved because she got drunk at the Christmas party, but it also turns out that she's all over the internet. There is a live video that was taken of her going down on a strange man, and now she is the topic of the city up until a new topic comes through, and it looks like she's going to be the topic for a very, very, very long time. So she's told to go home, to like sleep it through and like stay away for a little bit, so that obviously whatever backlash they get from this children's magazine doesn't come and affect her in any weird way. And her boss is very kind to her, tells her to obviously reach out should she need anything, but for now she must take time off, and she does just that, only to come back home and find that she still hasn't seen her best friend, doesn't know where her best friend is. And by the end of that day, she finds her best friend dead in a tub, in her tub. And therein the story unravels. It is a story that talks a lot to the role of social media, the power of social media, the commentary that we make on social media, the powers that we assume to have on social media, who is worthy of trusting. Obviously, if you're gonna have a whodunit, we're also gonna talk about power and trust, and it's very well done in this one. And as well as, should you be so caged up that you trust absolutely nobody? And because there's also elements of grief, of substance abuse, and just the pain of not becoming what you thought you would become at a certain time, and how you can then be your own worst enemy trying to act like that doesn't matter anymore. That comes through in this book so very well. I think it was really very well done. For me personally, I think that the topics that come up in terms of themes that allow you to like kind of ventilate them in your head, to mull over, are very, very, very crucial. And it also comes back to question how you as an individual uses social media, And if you have given your power away on that platform, or if you still do feel like you have power on there, as well as how closely you listen to the people close to you when they talk to you about certain things, even if it seems trivial, and even if it seems to you as not important or ill-timed, when they come to you and they say something to you that seems very odd, are you somebody who keeps that conversation somewhere within them where they can tap into? Because sometimes it signals that somebody does not feel safe and is dropping you little nuggets along the way for you to be able to find out what happens to them should anything ever happen to them. And I think that's very intriguing. And the use of digital platforms or means in order for you to uncover what is happening to you as well as what's happening around you in the world. I do think that there is a lot of meddling of a lot of themes in this one, but they are very easily put together and easy to navigate. And when it comes to female friendships and female representation online and in business, I think that Katie has done a very stellar job in representing the female role in all of these different spaces. I absolutely enjoyed this one, and like I said, it was a maybe, like a slight needle over just the maybe mark, but definitely not a concrete yes, but it was a maybe, which means it is something that I do feel like you should pick up when you get a chance, and you might actually enjoy. And then the second one that I picked up, or that I do want to talk about, is another thriller. So the two Sarah J Maas, I don't need to explain, but the two Sarah J Maas books that I spoke about, those two were fantasy. Okay, we are in a fae realm. Okay, so the second one that I picked up was I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay. And in this one we follow Professor Bodhi. Bodhi has gone back to her, can I call it an alma mater if it was a high school, but to her old high school. Okay, while she was in high school, let's say maybe a decade or two ago, a roommate of hers was actually drowned on the school pool. So it seems like it was foul play, but at the same time there may be talk that there may have not been any foul play, but that her life was just so dramatic and so devastating that she decided to unalive herself. Anyway, over the years, a lot of questions have come up about how she passed away and whether or not there was involvement from another source altogether. So in her career, Bodhi has grown to become a professor around film studies, around podcasting, mainly broadcasting things, right? So she's here for the semester break where some of the students actually stay at school and they study something new, and she's here to teach them about podcasting. At the time she's here, she's estranged from her husband. They're actually not married, but they're still seeing each other, but they're living apart. They are working towards a divorce, but they amicable. It's a complicated situation. So she's got two children by this man, two children by this man, and she's left her children there while she's here, and she's hoping to see her sidekick, you know, her sneaky link while she's there, who happens to be somebody that she really respects, who's also going through a lot in terms of the marriage front, right? And then she also meets up with her old friends from high school while she's there, who've also had questions around what happened to this roommate when she passed on. And some are friends that she's kept in touch with, some are old high school buddies, I suppose, that she lost touch with, but that communication is being rekindled. And there are one very young lady very smart young lady, who wants to dig up, as part of her podcast assignment for this house semester, to pick up on the case of Bodhi's drowned roommate. And she's adamant that she wants to get to the bottom of it, because come to find out that the wrong person has been arrested, and because of various types of profiling they figured that it must be him, and case closed. No need to argue. He has been in jail now for close to 2 decades, if not more. I'm not sure the time frame. 2 decades if not more. And listen, he's been trying to explain that it's not something that he did, and it's really had a toll on his family as well. So they go off on a little bit of an adventure, hunting down what could be the truth, researching past programs that covered the show, because the story, because it was a big story in the little town, and they come across a few anomalies along the way, and they're like, something, it's not adding up, something is hitting the water, and we will try and figure it out. And boy, do they figure things out, and boy, is it a trip for us all. And it is such a delight to watch, and it is such a delight to still have moments when you think you figured out what's happening that show you for sure that in fact, honey pie, you know nothing about a thing. Okay, I absolutely loved the journey that we went on here, especially the journey that speaks to issues around femicide, around feminism, and just around the crime, the element of crime as a genre that we consume these days. If we become desensitized or oversensitized, if we still have a hunger for the truth and for justice, or if we feel like, oh, these kind of things happen every single day, we're so numb to it now, we really don't care. There's a lot of discourse around what it means for a woman to die and for men to get away with certain behavior in society. I think I really did enjoy this one. It was one that I felt was worth talking about, and if you have not picked it up yet and it is within your reach, I'd suggest that you do. It's a very quick read, and it's a very strong maybe from me. So those are all the books I managed to read in the month of January. I truly hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye for now.